Welcome to Legends of Andor. That's what we're going to play today, but I need to talk about this just a little bit because first thing is this is a very special game to me because it taught me a lot, right? When I was first getting into modern board gaming, this was like the seventh game that I purchased. And I'm talking about, I purchased Catan, Cards Against Humanity, years before I bought Andor, right? And things like Splendor, I think I owned as well, and Munchkin, the pirate one, whatever that was. Like that. That's the kind of place I was at before Andor came along. And I bought Andor and some other game I still haven't played in December 2017. And I remember being so excited. I was just, I don't know what it was, but for some reason, that's not true at all. I know exactly what it was. As a person who's new to an entire hobby and doesn't have any person to go to, right? I had nobody to communicate with and no like friend group that was all about talking about board games at that time. I had the internet. And I wasn't really familiar with Board Game Geek, but I had an Amazon account, right? I didn't know about, like, say, Game Nerds and Boardlandia and whatever. I didn't know about any of this stuff. I just knew that, hey, Amazon has some board games, which now I know, it's a high rate of counterfeit stuff there and all sorts of other problems. And, anyway. So I ordered Legends of Andor, and this game showed up, and it was gorgeous, right? Like, take a look at this box. Okay, so first of all, this looks like dun, 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 here's epic fantasy tale. There's your heroes. Look at them fighting against the darkness, right? Look at the back of the box. Tell me that this doesn't look like the most amazing fantasy, just you're out there, epic fantasy running across this gorgeous map. Look how amazing it is. And there's a dragon on the board, and there's like this little keep thing in the middle that there's an archer standing on, and there's all these bad guys, and there's dice and tokens and a mountain and a forest. Ah, it's everything. This is not that game, right? Okay, so first of all, the artwork is some of my favorite artwork in board games. Period. Hands down, Michael Menzel artwork is my top tier. I absolutely love his artwork. I know that everybody has their style, their favorite. Mine is this. It's like just something about the look of this just really, really appeals to me. So I was sold immediately by the artwork and this picture of the board and ordered this, and it showed up, and I don't know what I'm doing. I am brand new to games. I think at that time the only like real modern game I had played was probably I mean, I did play Catan and Splendor a little bit, but we're talking twice. Okay, I really think I played Catan twice at that point. Like my actual physical Catan, which I don't even have anymore, I gave it away, is the Quest for El Dorado. I believe that was the game, and I was like, what? Board games are incredible. I need some fantasy stuff because that's what I'm all about. And I ordered this, and it showed up, and I'm ready to kill some things. And oh my god, this game is not that game. Talk about like learning the lesson the hard way of like, boy, do you need to do some research on what you're doing. You can get the manuals, and again, I didn't know any of this. And so if you go to Board Game Geek now, and you go through the forums, and you see people complaining about this game, I mean, I'm not saying that this is a perfect game, and there's no, flaws or whatever. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is there's an awful lot of people like me out there that whined and complained that this is not the game they thought it was, and that's not the game's fault. That's our fault. Knowing that now, right, so I shelved it. I was upset. I did not want to play. I thought, what is this game? And this is after I figured out there's no, like, real standard manual in the box. There is no just like, here it is, here's the setup, here's what you need to know. There's not. There is a quick start guide that is required, by the way. So if you look at the back of the box on the right-hand side, quick start guide allows new players to immediately jump into their first adventure. Boy, they weren't kidding. You have to do this. You must do this, okay? So you are forced to, I don't even have it with me here, but that's okay. I don't need the physical thing. I actually found it finally on the internet, thankfully, the PDF, so that we can all share and see the graphics here of their pretty little quick start guide. So I go to set this game up, and I'm all excited. I'm like, okay, the quick start guide, this is great. And I learned that this is not the epic, killing bad guys and going on these crazy quests. It is a puzzle game. And I guess I was heartbroken a little bit because it doesn't look like that kind of game. It is a puzzle game, and I couldn't come to terms with that, and I thought, boy, this game should be amazing, but I guess it's just not what I thought it was. I put it on my shelf, and I didn't touch it for probably 2.5 years. And in those 2.5 years, I bought a lot of board games, let me tell you. In those first 2.5 years, that's all I was doing was acquiring games left and right, just diving into this hobby for the first time. And at some point, I decided to come back to this. I don't know what it was. There was just one day, the box caught my eye, and I remember thinking to myself, oh, I was home alone. I had nothing to do. I had access to, like, the big dining room table. And I thought, okay, I'm going to set this monster of a game up. That's another thing. You'll notice that this game doesn't want to fit on this table, right? You can. This is it. This is as zoomed out as I can get for us. So we just have to deal with that, and then we're going to figure out what to do with this little tiny bit of space here, because I have a lot of pieces and a lot of things to do. Like, look how many pieces are here. All these cute little bits, right? I mean, look at that. A dragon, and there's a prince, and a dark mage, and these enemies, and runes, and all this amazing, and there's equipment and stuff. I fell in love with this, and oh man, did I learn a hard lesson that day. So anyway, I play the game. I get the game out. I force my way through this introductory thing, and I realize that, oh, I understand now. This is a puzzle game, and this is how I have to approach it. And I think I was able to see that finally, because I had, another 2.5 years of board games under my belt. So I had played more than just like 6 games, right? And I was then able to go, okay, I see why this is special and unique, and how this game is incredible and stands on its own, and now I need everything I can get my hands on for it, because this is amazing. And I think I only played the first 3 chapters. I remember a friend came over, and we did like maybe the 3rd or 4th legend. They call them legend. There's only 5 legends in this box, and the first one teaches you how to play. And then I packed it up. Maybe we played something else that day, and it just never, ever again came off my shelf. And so it's been another 2.5 years or so now, and here we are. So we're gonna dive into it and actually get into it, but I don't remember how to play. So thankfully, we have the Quick Start Guide. Now, I have to cover a couple of other quick things here real fast. So, what's incredible about this is the community, I think. I think the community around this game is absolutely amazing, because turns out it's a fantastic game. Again, look at the front of the box. Boom, 2013 Kennerspiel des Jahres winner, right? So that is the connoisseur's game of the year, right? There's a reason. This game's amazing. So if you go to Board Game Geek and go down to the files section, you will find that people have made their own legends to play. It's awesome, right? So the base game box comes with 5, and the first one is a tutorial. Then it turns out, in fact, where? Oh, I can't see, because everything is like ginormous. I made everything super huge, so it's not where I usually go. So if we go to the expansions, you'll notice there's an awful lot of things that you can get for this game. Look at this, 4 pages, but turns out most of them are in German only. And so you have this unfortunate situation where there's an awful lot of cool stuff for this game, and if you're an English-only speaker, it's not available for your game. Or at least for your language, rather. And so that's unfortunate, but the Board Game Geek community has translated a lot of this stuff, and if you go into the files section, you will find there are loads of things to take a look at here. There's like rules, helps, an FAQ, and then there's a ton of fan-made legends and translated ones from German, which are incredible. Now, what's a bummer? There's all kinds of bummers here. So let's start with this. First of all, if you go to the Thames and Cosmos website, and you search up Legends of Andor, it has its own whole section. This is the family, right? This is the collection. You can see there's a lot of stuff here. Now, first of all, this one down on the bottom right, Eternal Frost, isn't out yet. I know it says sold out temporarily, and it comes out in 2 months, I think, at least in English. And that is this game here, the Eternal Frost. So I don't know anything about it. I don't own it. I don't know anything other than it's coming out soon, and I have pre-ordered it because I gotta have it, right? So there's that. Now, on top of that, we have Andor, the family fantasy game. I don't know what this is. I've never played it. I have no clue what's going on there. And this one, The Liberation of Reichsburg, is a completely different game. This is like a card game. I happen to own it. I picked it up on a sale one day, and I've never opened it, so I don't know anything about it. However, if you go up to the top here, these are all regular Legends of Andor stuff, and it's kind of a bummer, because if you look here, it looks to me like Thames and Cosmos has just said, look, this game has been out for 10 years, it's not selling like it used to, it's time to slow down production, and they're missing some things here, right? So first of all, you can get the base game, and you can get the 3rd expansion, right? You can see Part 3, The Last Hope, but the 2nd expansion is not here. Then, they're also missing something called the Star Shield. I don't know what the full name of it is. There's another one of these skinny boxes called the Star Shield expansion or something. And then there's this New Heroes pack and the Dark Heroes pack, which I think adds a 5th and 6th player. Yeah, you can barely see it there. It says on the very bottom expansion for 5 and 6 players, and it adds 4 new heroes each. Okay, that's awesome. But getting into this game 10 years later, I don't know if they're going to do a big box or what. And then, there was a lot of talk early on about Eternal Frost here not coming to, like English. So I don't know. I think we're lucky we're getting that at all. Because if you go to the actual Legends of Andor website, ta-da, in English, it's kind of a mess, really. So at least compared to the German one, right? So first of all, it does have this nice little FAQ section here, right? There's some general questions answered because I guess there was like a first edition print of this in the US, or in English, maybe, I don't know, wherever Fantasy Flight does their stuff. Fantasy Flight published this at first, and I guess that version has all sorts of problems. I've never seen it. I don't know anything about it. I have a probably later edition from Cosmos here, and it seems to be okay, I guess. So, there's some pretty handy things here in the FAQ. There are some bonus materials here, and I didn't pull up the German website to compare them, but my understanding of this is it's night and day. That there are loads of things for Andor in German and not in English. So keep that in mind too. You might be relying on Google Translate or the Board Game Geek community to translate it for us. And then there's some things here. Look at that. There's a soundtrack, and if I wasn't afraid of YouTube, I would be playing a soundtrack to have the background music going because I think that'd be awesome. You can look at some awesome Michael Menzel artwork on here. But just for an example, take a look at this. Journey to the North. This is the second expansion. This is part 2. What happens when you click on that? They don't even have it on their website anymore. So I literally don't know, what the deal is. Are they not printing it anymore? Are they done with this? I don't know what to make of this. And if they're going to have expansions for Eternal Frost, the Eternal Frost, are we going to get them? I have no idea. It's just such a shame. So I say, check this out. Look into it if it seems like it's up your alley, because it's quite impressive once you accept that it is a puzzle game. And I don't even know what that is. What is this? Magic, what is this? See, that's not in English. We don't have that. We don't have this. There's so many things that we don't have, which I would buy in an absolute heartbeat. I do have everything that I believe is released in English. So I have the Star Shield thing. I have the Dark Heroes. I have the other one, the New Heroes. I have all of it. And this is just the base game sitting in front of us. So is there anything else I wanted to talk about here now that I've been talking for probably 15 minutes of stuff that nobody cares about? So let's take a look at the first page here of the Quick Start Guide. So, you know what? In fact, if you go to the reference guide, which I also think was possibly not in the first edition of this game, I really don't know. But this is an 8-page book that you can't just sit and read and learn how to play. The game doesn't support that. It is more like an FAQ itself. It is just covering things that come up in the game, but you need to know how to play the game before you can hit that reference. There is no just manual to sit and read. So it makes it a little bit difficult to learn about the game ahead of time because you can't hop online, download a PDF, and read it. You can get these PDFs, but you don't know how it plays because there is no rule set. You have to just kind of play through it, and it introduces you step by step by step. And in fact, if you look here, the very first thing it says, the heroes are trying to protect the land of Andor from evil creatures and complete other exciting quests. The game is played in 5 legends. For each legend, there is a set of large legends cards. When you play for the first time, start with the Quick Start Guide for Legend 1. It tells you, close this 8-page book that looks like the manual, get rid of it, it's not for you. It tells you to go ahead and get page 1 of this thing, the Quick Start Guide, and read through this, and to follow it step by step, which, I don't know, I guess if you're not used to it, it's really jarring, and it's still a little jarring to me. I just wish there was just straight up, here's what you need to do, and there kind of is. There's this now. There's a checklist card in here too, which you finally get access to later on, but you don't know that when you buy the game. When you buy the game, you don't know what you need, you don't know what cards, you don't know there's a checklist card here, you don't know any of this. You just see all this amazing stuff, and there's no just manual, so it's really bizarre. So anyway, on to the setup here. So this does say, it even tells you before the first game, look for the blue frame die cut boards and punch the stuff out. You don't need the red. I don't even remember now. It's been 6 years, or whatever. So I don't remember that there were other ones and the starting ones in here apparently, but apparently there were. Then it tells you to go ahead and give players their little pieces, right? And so that's the warrior in blue there. The warrior gets blue dice. Everybody has 2 discs, a cube, and some number of dice. They're all different. It tells you how to set the game up, which I've already done here for us, right? So you'll notice there's these big chunky pieces on the board. These are only used for this introduction game. They are not used for the rest of the game at all. It literally tells you what happens when you go to this spot. This is the tutorial. This is the how do you play this game. This is what you have to do to learn how to play this game, is set it up and play through it. And of course, I probably put this on, the 1 gold goes on space 20. I put it on the wrong spot. There we go. Okay. So it tells you to do that. It tells you to set the narrator piece, the little white thing, on space A down there, and put all, it even does have a weird typo. It says set the, each player places both wooden discs in the game board sunrise box. And you do not. That's not true. That is a little mistake there. So the narrator is this little guy down here. This is your timekeeper guy and tells you what cards to read from this legend. So you'll notice legend 1 just has a big, every card has a 1, oh, that's funny, has a 1 on it, and then a letter associated with it, which you're going to read when you get to that letter. That's how it works. It's really cool, right? That's funny. It's been a number of years, and I'm sure that I put this in the card sleeve for a reason that I don't know, but I guarantee at the time I was like, this will be smart in the future. So you have our little heroes, right? So on space 43, we have our dwarf guy starting here. This little setup guide thing tells you where to put your guys. So we know exactly where to put right there. Each player places his hero on one of the spaces as follows. The dwarf on 43, warrior on 25. So if you look at this gorgeous map, there's numbers on every single space. Now, the arrows here don't mean anything to us. That's how the enemies move, and there's no enemies here. So it's just us so far. The game is going to literally teach us the very basics, like how to walk. So this is enemy, cube and a disc and some dice down here. So we're not going to worry about this too much at the moment. We're just going to jump in after we introduce our heroes and talk about how this is going to work, right? So like I said, I have very little table space here. So the first guy, we have a warrior. And you know what else is awesome is you have double-sided boards, right? So we have Marin, right? So now everything is the same. It's just that we have masculine and feminine sides here, right? So we're going to play as Thorn, right? The warrior from Rightland. I don't know what the rank does, rank 14, but he has a special ability, Thorn, and they're the same, right? Like, so if on this side, all the stuff is the exact same, right? There's even in this box, the standees, they have like, both versions of it. It's not just one-sided and you just look at a side, right? It's pretty cool. So we have, she gets 5 willpower points instead of 3 when she empties a well, or they empty a well, right? So that'll come in later. Now, see, the problem here I have is that these actually literally hang off my desk a little bit, or my table here, right? Like I would have to have, if you want to see everything, cover up the whole left side of the board. And I just don't think it's that important for us to look at the gorgeous artwork. I think it's amazing. This literally, I could probably move it over a smidge more, right? It bumps into the dice tray, which is not able to be moved. So we have this, okay? So you can see everything we need to see. The helmet would go right here. Maybe I'll just scooch it into the spot right here, but you can see there's a spot for helmets and a shield. Let's take a look at our next player. Chada, archer from the Watchful Woods, which I imagine is out here. So the warrior is in, Rightland. This is Rightland Castle, right? Each battle round, Chada rolls her dice 1 at a time and decides when to stop rolling. Only her final roll counts. She can also attack a creature in an adjacent space. And we're going to go over all this stuff here in just a minute. So we're gonna tuck her up under here. In fact, while I'm doing this, I may as well put all the pieces where they belong. Okay, I think the game probably tells us at some point. So the blue guy has 4 blue, and the dice are wooden in this. Keep that in mind. They're like tiny little wooden dice. And you're going to, there's a mark, here, I'm going to throw this up here. There's a mark on 7. This is the willpower that every character starts with. So you're just going to put your little disc on 7, and I believe the cube starts on 1. So we're going to put the cube there. Our wizard has a Yara, wizard from the north, rank 34, special ability. Each battle round, Yara can turn her, each round. Oh, no, that's, yeah, you're going to roll it. Okay. Can turn her rolled die onto its opposite side immediately after rollings, which can turn a 1 into a 6, for example. When fighting with other heroes in a collective battle, she can apply this ability to another hero's roll instead of her own. That is so powerful. So powerful. All right, so, oh boy, look at this. I'm already running out of space. And you'll notice that, yeah, our archer has a lot of dice here, which is really weird. They really could have just given you 1 die for the archer. I don't know why we have so many. We have 1 single die for our wizard here, and that is plenty. Okay, and then last but not least, we have Cram and Bait. I don't know if I like the name Bait or not, so we're going to go with Cram here. Cram, the dwarf from the deep mines, rank 7. Special ability, Cram can buy strength points at the dwarf mine, which is space 71. That's right here on the board. That is space 71. It has a little merchant symbol. For 1 gold each instead of 2. Now, all of this doesn't mean anything to us just yet, so I'm just gonna talk about the spaces here. So you can see that there's a little square here for a helmet. You can obviously carry like a shield or something here. Now we know what we can carry because the game also comes with this absolutely gorgeous equipment board, and this is when you go shopping what you can buy. So you can buy all kinds of cool things, and you see those giant oval pieces fit into that spot right there. Okay, and so I can't even fit this thing where it needs to be. I have it standing up facing me, and then I just have all the tokens in a pile within reach. This board is gigantic, and like I said, this is zoomed back as far as I can go. Otherwise, we start seeing floor here because we go off the edge of the table. And so you have willpower. Think of this as like your hit points, okay? And then the better off you are at the moment, right? So if you're in this row here, during attack, you get to roll 1 die. So if you look at our other heroes, you can roll 2 dice if you are on row 1 as the warrior. But the warrior starts, I think they all start at 7. They have these little marks underneath them. And so you get to roll 3 dice as the warrior during combat to start. The archer gets to roll 1 die up to 4 times. The wizard, no matter what, gets 1 die. But she can flip it over to the other side, which is incredibly powerful. And our dwarf here, yeah, it looks like 1, 2, and 3 dice. So, of course, there are 3 dice here, as well as if you see the strength points thing on top of that, you are just adding this number to your roll, right? So if fight comes, I roll 2 dice, and you take your highest rolled die only, right? So that's a 6. So this guy is going to do 6 plus, if we're on 8, we're going to do 14 points of damage minus whatever the enemy rolls, right? Combat's pretty straightforward in this, which is a good thing, really. Additionally, you can carry 3 different carryable items here, and gold and gems go up here, and it's unlimited storage up there. So now that our heroes are all set up, I mean, it probably tells me this here somewhere what to do. It just tells you to take your stuff. Page 2. Oh yeah, it talks about the hero board. Look at that. It tells you everything I just said. Spaces for gold. At the beginning, each hero has 1 strength point. So we're going to put that on 1, and we're going to start on 7. Now, the way this works, right? And so it's very straightforward. I mean, it does a good job of getting you in. It does, once you know what's happening. It's literally telling you how to play the very first time. The heroes whose turn it is always performs 1 action. After that, it is the turn of the next hero in a clockwise direction. So the way this works, the one thing I need to figure out, I believe it's the lowest rank character is going to start first. So I believe Cram starts first for us, and I feel like it tells us that somewhere, and I just don't remember where. I kind of glanced over this, but I'm pretty sure that that's the way that this goes, is that because Cram is rank 7, so I believe that he is going to go first. So now that we've got the whole game set up, what we're going to do is we are just going to double check that I've got everything in the right space here. I think we're good. Where does this guy start? 43. Archer on 53. Looking good. Our wizard is way up here. Oh, and so that's another problem, is because we're so far zoomed out, I can't stand these guys up very well, because then you can't see them very well. I put the bases on because it does help, but if I wind up standing them up on accident, you can still see that that's where the yellow is, that's where the green is. But if I leave them laying down, you can see the cool artwork. And hopefully a little bit of the color of the stand. They are labeled purple, or whatever color they are on the bottom, so you know which stand to put on each standee. It's pretty cool. Enemies are red or black, but I think if I just leave everything laying down, it might look a little bit better from your overhead perspective. So we are going to take a quick break. I'm just going to double check everything here, and then we will get started with round 1 here in just a moment. Okay, everything looked good to go, but I do want to do one thing before we get started here. I want to take a look at the website again, because I forgot this was here at first, and I wanted to talk about this. This is pretty cool. Check this out. If you go to the, it's legendsofandor.com. Here we go to prehistory story. There's all kinds of stuff you can read. A small band of slaves escaped from their cruel overseers into an unknown land. During their escape, they have to pass the Grey Mountains and are nearly killed by a dragon. Their leader, a man named Brander, feels responsible for the people. He fights against the dragon with so much willpower and resolve that the dragon begins to fear for its own immortal life. He allows Brander and his friends to pass. Ever after, the dragon has sworn revenge against Brander and sends out his creatures to attack and destroy him. Legends of Andor starts about 80 years later. In the meantime, Brander became the king of the land called Andor. And look, there's a whole cool and they're not long. They're not long. It talks about the creatures if you want to go read this. I'm not going to read through all this for you, but I think it's really neat. You can talk, the witch is a character in here, right? We've seen the standee in the box, so there's some cool stuff going on here. So I think it's kind of fun. Maybe we'll read little bits and pieces here and there, but it's time to get started now. Stop fooling around. Okay, so here, the way this starts, the narrator is on space A. That means we start with A. And if okay, there's only 2. For some reason, I thought there was like 400 of these to teach us how to play. But no, the game literally starts from here's how you walk. Okay, so the King's scouts could hardly... Oh, you know what? Why not do this? The King's scouts could hardly believe their eyes. At last, Prince Thorold had returned and called together the bravest heroes from all regions of Andor. In this first part of the introductory game, the heroes must complete 4 tasks before the actual adventure can begin. And the tasks are as follows. At least one hero must uncover a fog token, so that's these out here. At least one hero must buy 1 strength point from the merchant. He will need 2 gold for that, okay. A hero must empty the well, alright. And finally, a hero must end his move on the castle. All tasks will be completed when the heroes have ended their moves on their respective spaces. The hero with the lowest rank, see hero boards, goes first and places his time marker in the sunrise box's rooster to show that he will begin the next day. And the book does call out, if it ever says he, it says, it could be he, she, whatever. The manual, does make mention of this. Now continue on to Legend Card 2. So we need to remember this, that we have these things that we have to do. So this says the castle space 0, can be entered like any normal space. The river cannot be entered. It can only be crossed by the bridges. The bridges are not spaces and are not counted as spaces when moving. Each hero has just 7 hours of time, so you should consult with each other to decide which hero is going to complete which task. The first part of the introductory game ends A, when a hero ends his move on the castle, or B, when all heroes have used up their 7 hours on the time track. Okay. So then it says, if all tasks have been completed, you have completed the first part of the introductory game, then continue with step 4 on page 2 of the Quick Start Manual. So that is, if we go back here on the bottom right of that, it's page 2 of this thing that's teaching us how to play. Okay, so this is pretty straightforward. I think they did this on purpose. They put us within range of all the things that we need. And what they're talking about, the hours of the day here, we're not going to worry about this yet. It'll talk about that later. This is the sunrise box. This explains how things happen in the day. And we do play in clockwise order from who started. So we're just going to go top to bottom here. It looks like Cram here, our dwarf of rank 7, is starting first. So that's his little yellow token right here. So Cram is over here. And Cram can go 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. That takes 4 hours. And because we ended our time here, let's take a look at what this says. If a hero ends his move... Oh, you know what? I have this. If a hero ends his move on this space, he immediately receives 2 gold from the trove. This token is now removed from the game. It is the turn of the next hero in a clockwise direction, right? So like I said, they really, these things teach you how to play. And so now Cram has 2 gold, and we go up to Thorn, our blue warrior guy way over here. Now remember, we have to do the things that it told us to do. So we got some gold, and now Cram is right by the merchant here. So let's take Thorn here, and we could have Thorn grab a gold piece, or hit up the well. So let's go 1, 2, 3, and we'll go to the well. And the well says, oh, that was 3 hours. Every step is an hour. If a hero ends his move on a space with a face-up well token, the colored side, he can use the well to get 3 willpower points. After use, flip the well token over to show the grayed out empty well. Okay, and I don't know if I said this before, I think I did, but perhaps not. These tokens are literally only used for the introductory game. They printed like all of this cardboard. You know, this isn't they could have been cards or something. This is real. This is a tile for just this one play. It's crazy. Okay, so I didn't even actually realize that you can just flip this. I thought they were all just like blank on the back, right? Aren't they blank? Oh, maybe not. Yeah, that one is. Okay. The well is emptied. It is the turn of the next hero in a clockwise direction, right? So this guy happens to be our warrior who says Thorn gets 5 willpower points instead of 3 when he empties a well. So we're going to go from 7 to 12 willpower. Awesome. Okay, now it is our archer out here, what's her name? Chada, archer from the Watchful Woods. Now, she is very close to a fog token, and that's part of our goals, so let's go there. So let's go 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we're going to put her on 3 as well. Wish these were a little bigger. Okay, so if a hero ends her move on a space with a fog token, she must uncover and activate it, flip the token over, and follow the instructions on the other side. All right, you get 1 gold from the trove. So let's take. I have a whole little cup of gold here. It's 1s, 2s, and 5s. So we're going to take 1, not 5, unfortunately. This token is now removed from the game. It is the turn of the next hero in a clockwise direction. Okay, so this is out. And so this will probably come up later, but I want to mention it now. You can see these circles on these spaces, like the foggy banks of the river here. There's circles on the board. If you can't see it, there are circles, and there are fog tokens that go on there. And there's like 14. There's a whole mess of them. Okay, Iara, the wizard from the north, who, wow, amazingly enough, is way up here. Also near a fog token. Now, what we could do with her is we can accomplish all of this, right? Like, she could go to the castle and end her turn there, because that was our list of goals, right? Didn't we have to do all? Oh no, we didn't buy a thing yet, right? We have to buy some strength. Okay, so what we'll do is maybe just uncover another fog token. So we'll go 1, 2 for the wizard. She's going to end her turn on space 11. So this fog token is worded the exact same. It's the same, but we just don't know what we find in the fog. You get 1 strength point. This token is now removed from the game. It is the next hero's turn. So she moved how far? 1, 2 space. Oh, I did it. Okay. So she gets 1 strength point. So she's at 2. All right. We go back to Cram, who's going to move 1 space down to the merchant. We go to the merchant, and this says, if a hero ends his move on a space with the merchant symbol, so just real quick, there's 3. There's 1 up here at this giant awesome tree. There's a staircase in there. There's a window with like a balcony there. There's 1 here in the mountains. This is the special one for that guy. And then there's 1 over here. He can buy 1 strength point for every 2 gold. Then it is the turn of the next hero in a clockwise direction. Okay, so Cram does have our 2 gold he picked up. So we're going to spend 2 gold, gain 1 strength. Now, real fast, I want to take a look at this again here. This is the merchant board, right? You see the merchants here. Strength points and all the articles displayed can be purchased for 2 gold in the spaces with the merchant symbol, but not when just passing through. You have to stop and end your turn there, okay? And in this introductory game, we need to do the thing it tells us to do, so we're not going to go buying other stuff, okay? That's what we've got. So Cram has ended his turn, right? That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, perfect. So we go on to the warrior, who now I think we can probably decide what to do here. Do we go ahead and grab the gold or go into the castle? Let's use all of the time available to us, right? We can go, so I don't need this thing here anymore, and it's kind of in the way. 1, 2, and if he goes here, picks up a gold, that'll put him here, and then later he can end his turn there. So let's do that. Let's go 1, 2, and this says, right, take a gold. So now we have a gold piece, right? Because why not exploit the tutorial for all that we can get out of it, right? So he moved 2 spaces. We go to her. We may as well move 1 space and find out what is here in the fog. This one is, you get 2 willpower points. This token is now removed from the game. So now she has 9 hit points. Okay, they call them willpower. And if you ever get knocked out at 0, it's kind of hard to see, but there's a little arrow that points to the number 3. And what happens is you're removed from combat. You go to 3 willpower points, but it costs you 1 of your strength points if you have 1 to lose. And there is a spot 0 there. You can go up to the little fist. Okay, so she did her thing. We're going to go on to the wizard now, who is going to move one space over and end her turn on the castle. Let's see here. If all tasks have been completed, you have completed the first part of the introductory game. Okay, so read step 4. So we go back to this thing. Congratulations, you've successfully completed the first part of the introductory game. The heroes have arrived. Now you know all of the most important rules. The game has like 2 things. It's move or fight. I mean, that's it. Those are your actions, right? The rest is just like stuff that happens. Place all the heroes' time markers in the sunrise box. The hero who entered the castle places his time marker on the sunrise rooster to show that he will be the first to take his turn on the next day. So that's purple. That's our wizard is going first. The wizard from the north, Iara. Okay, remove the remaining large tokens. We use them all from the game. Put them in the game box. They will no longer be needed in the second part. Okay, so this is going to take a minute to go through this setup. I'm not going to bore you. I've talked for 25 minutes, I think, about dumb setup stuff. So that's part 1. That just taught us how to move. I'm going to get this set up and then just cover it real quick, and we'll be right back. Okay, so we've got everything all set up here just like they asked us to. I did bump this table, so I feel like if something is slightly out of place, it's entirely my fault. I think everything is where it belongs. So let's take a look at what they wanted us to do here, right? So it says put these well tokens, there's 4 of them, onto the board, foggy side, right? Like no color side. So you can see like right here and right here. This means they've been used, and there's, I think, a good reason for what they're teaching us here. Get a red X ready. There's little cardboard X's in the book, in the box, but they're very small and they're dark red and they're hard for you to see. So I'm going to use a little bright red plastic giant X I have here. Get a parchment token ready. That's just this little thing. I don't know. There's a whole mess of them in the box. Place 6 star tokens on B, C, D, F, H, and N. These are just so that we remember to read cards when the narrator moves to this section, right? So when this guy moves up, that means you need to stop and read a card. Put that green card. There's like 1 green card in here, and this I had tucked away with B1, so I would find it, I guess, when I needed it. Past me was on the ball. The narrator is already on A. Get some creatures ready. Get the battle board ready. And then it says, and the end of battle and fighting together cards side by side. Okay, so what they're talking about here is on the other side, right, of the equipment board, we have the battle board. This walks you through how combat works. And then we have these 2 cards that explain more of how combat works, which it's going to tell us in a little bit. And then we get the enemy cubes ready. That's all already done down here. And then it says remove these 4 tokens from the pile of fog tokens. They will not be needed in the introductory game. Now you'll notice there's 2 gores on there. If we go back and look at the list of game pieces, it tells us what the fog tokens are. And they're all good except for those 2 enemies, and they're not in here. So we got to remember that right now, fog tokens are our friends. And then it says mix the remaining 11. Okay, so there's 15. And place them face down on the riverbank spaces with the fog icon. Because 4 of them have been removed. You don't put them, there's going to be some empty ones, and do not place a fog token on any space occupied by a hero. So because I had our heroes, grab these fog tokens, I thought it would be kind of fun to put them where we didn't go, right? So I know the elf here, the archer came through here, but we didn't hit fog tokens until we were up here. So I just took those away and just put them out here. I don't know. I mean, there's no reason I could just put them right here, right up on us, but instead we're going to do this and continue our legends. Okay. So then it says, what does it say? All done, you'll find the final rules on the next page, and then you can start your adventure. And so what this is teaching us is the time track here, how this works. Now, as you've already learned, the hero's hours are recorded with time markers. Okay, so the short version of this, this is probably the long-winded version of this. Basically, every time you move or a round of combat happens, you spend 1 hour. This is overtime hours. You can lose 2 hit points to go up to 10, but you can never kill yourself. You're not allowed to overexert yourself, right? This isn't America, okay? You can't work until you die. You have to stop at 1 willpower, okay? You can also choose to end your time whenever you want, end your day rather, right? So you could be up here at 5 or over here at 2 and just be like, you know what? I don't want to move anymore. I'm going to bed early. And whoever ends their day first starts first next time. That's what this little rooster thing here is for. That's really what this is. It's just keeping track of whose turn it is, how many moves you have left, and then whether or not you want to burn some overtime hours. Now, the other thing you do in this box is down here on the bottom. And does it talk about this? Yeah, the sunrise box. Read points 1 through 8 now and immediately carry out the steps. Okay, so I will do this for us. So instead of reading it, here's how this works. You go from left to right and do everything here. This is draw a card and read it and activate it. This is move these bad guys, those bad guys, those bad guys, those bad guys, those bad guys again, refresh the wells, and move the narrator. That's all that is. So we'll start here. Card. And this is a special card, so it says, Start card, only required in the introductory game. Sudden screams echo through the countryside. They're coming! The Gores are moving in the gray of dawn, and Rightburg Castle is in danger. Aye. So now we have to fight some dudes. Place Gores on 16. This is the real game. Here's 16. It's figuring out where all these bad guys... And here's... Oh, you got a picture. I was going to say, that's what they look like, and here's their backside. 22, 23, and 24. Oh, those are 22, 23, and 24. Easy enough. All right, regardless of whether or not a hero is standing on any of the spaces. Okay, so we did the card. We go, now this we don't need anymore. I'm just going to tuck this in with my B1 card because that's where I found it. I put it there for a good reason all those years ago that I last played this because I needed it right when I saw it. So that seems to be a good place to hide that card if you have your card sleeved, which totally don't need to be sleeved, by the way. I accept that. Now it says we move these jerks. Oh, this is terrible. Okay. So the way the movement works, right, is they're going to go step by step in order. So 22 is going to go first. That's the low. No, 16 goes first. That's the lowest number. And they follow these little arrows. That's all that they do. They're very dumb, and they never like initiate combat or whatever. So oh dear. So 22 is going to go, then 23 is going to go, and this is going to teach us a lesson. Look, 23 moves up to 19, but there's already a guy there, so 23 jumps up there, and 24 is going to go over there. That's a huge bummer. Although, good news is we've got people ready to attack these fools. Okay, now, what else do we have? The Gores have moved. I think I moved them all. Then none of those exist. We refresh all of the wells unless there's a hero standing on it. So if there's a hero on any of these, they would stay gray. And then we do the narrator, which moves up to B. Okay, so that means we have B1 and B2. So B1 says, periods of peace have only ever lasted a few years in Andor. The great King Brander was worried and had sent his son, Prince Thorald, to ask for help in all parts of the land. This legend begins on a foggy morning as the first hero reaches Rightburg Castle. Okay, so we had starting equipment, it sounds like. All right, each hero now gets to add 1 strength point. Cool. That's great. It is the introductory game. Okay, and 4 gold will be divided among the group however you like. Just decide among yourselves who gets how much. So I have some thoughts. I mean, I guess I don't really know, but we know that this dude is already standing on a place that he can just buy some, so why not make himself burly right away, right? Nobody else is near the shop. Let's do that. A hero who's standing on a space with a merchant, 18, 57, and 71. So just so you can see, 18 is where we're at here, 57 is the tree, and 71 is the dwarf place where this guy can get, burlier for cheaper. He pays half price there. Let's see here. Can buy extra strength points for 2 gold each. That cannot be done when just passing through the space. However, a hero may complete the purchases even if it's not on his turn. Now, that's very confusing, but it makes sense. The only actual actions in this game are move and fight. Everything else just kind of happens. Spaces with creatures in them can be entered and passed through without any danger. Only heroes can start a battle, never the creatures. So the creatures just move towards the castle. This is tower defense. Okay? The legend goal. So here's the goal. Here we are. 45 minutes into the game, we know what we're doing now. The hero's task is to defeat the creatures before they reach the castle. Now, continue to legend to B2. That's this card. To keep too many creatures from getting into the castle, the heroes will have to attack them. Starting now, each hero will select one of 2 options during his turn. Move or fight. To attack a creature, the hero must be standing on the same space as the creature. When it comes to a fight, read the instructions on the battle board out loud. Each hero should now take another look at his special abilities. See the hero board. The hero in the castle is the one who will begin the new day. Okay, so we've learned some things. First thing we need to know is that we can't let these guys get into the castle. This is tower defense. And this guy really would jump over here, right? No. No, this guy would move first. He's in 3, so he would move, then this guy would move, then this guy would move. This is a bad spot for us. This is whatever. So we need to think about how to dispatch us some gores here. Oh, you know what we have? The website. Creatures! Look at that. The creatures and Tarok, the dragon. Crawhall, the magical realm from which the dragons drew their power, erupted years ago. Only one other dragon survived the catastrophe. His name was Tarok. Let's see here. Then other creatures from the depths of Crawhall became the servants of Tarok, the last dragon. They had no name when they arrived in Andor, and the keepers of the Tree of Songs called them Gores. They were evil, spiritless creatures, feared by men and dwarfs alike. They were stooped and unarmed, save their powerful hands, which were beset with big, fearsome claws. All right, okay. Enough messing around here. What are we doing? We got the purple guy. The wizard needs to get on one of these guys. So we're going to move 1, 2 to be down here, and that's the end of your turn. Now, this guy can purchase on the purple person's turn. So I think since we're there, we're just going to buy 2 strength points for 4 gold, move us up to 4. Now, if we look... Remember, it tells us right here, we're Adam. I mean, he's Adam Merchant. He can just do that. He's still existing in the world at the time. So I can buy strength points for 2 gold each. Okay, coolio. I mean, I guess it could happen on their turn or maybe the beginning of their turn. We're just standing on it, right? Yeah, but not when passing through. Okay, either way, we go on here to Cram now, who's a beefcake, and can actually go 1, 2 spaces, right? Is that what, or, well, maybe do we help the archer? 1, 2, and then let these guys fight up here? Maybe 1, 2, so that's going to be 2 for the yellow guy as well. And now Cram is done. We go to blue, who's going to move 1 space and end their turn. Green is then going to initiate combat, because her special ability is... she can also attack a creature from an adjacent space. And the way that... yeah, well... I want him to fight because she's too weak. So maybe not. Maybe she... Yeah, maybe she's not... I want him to fight her, right? So maybe she goes 1, 2 spaces. How about this? Because we know all these fog tokens are going to be good for us, right? So let's run around here and grab some fog tokens, right? So she ends her turn 2. That's +2 willpower, right? So she gets 2 hit points. Can't argue with that. Okay, so chat is done. Iara, the purple wizard here, is now going to... So here's combat. And I guess the way that I brought them all together, but because we need to kill these guys, let's do her 1 combat. Yeah, so she's going to spend 1 time to go into combat. Now, the combat board is on the back side of the equipment board, right? So this tells us what to do. And amazingly enough, this is only needed in the introductory game. Before battle, mark the gore's values in the game's creature display. So we have 2 strength. Oh, you can't see that. 2 strength right here. So that's what this little cube is for. And they have 4 hit points. There's a picture of a little gar down here. So we know it has 4 hit points, and it's going to roll 2 red dice. Okay? So, the hero, important, the hero chooses 1 of 2 options, move or fight. If the hero moves into a creature space during this turn, he has to wait until next turn before fighting. That's why we did that. So, the hero's time marker advanced 1 hour. So we did that already, right? Did we? We went 1, 2, 3. No, we didn't. I don't think so. So let's move that forward 1 hour. The hero always rolls all the dice. And then it's important to do it in order, right? So let's go ahead and... roll her 1 die, because remember, her special ability is to flip it. So we're going to do a certain amount of damage no matter what, right? So she rolled a 4, which was not a great roll, because if she flips it, it's a 3. We don't want to do less damage. So she rolled a 4 plus 3, so she rolled a 7. Her strength is 3. She's beefy. So now the gore has to roll against that 7 and rolls a 6, right? They only take the highest one, although enemies will add theirs together. I believe it says on this board. The gore's response. Now the player to the left rolls 2 red dice for the gore. The highest roll is what counts for the gore also, just like for the players, although they have a special rule. Identical dice numbers are totaled up. This applies to all creatures, but not to the heroes. Okay? That only applies to the heroes when they have a helmet. So the gore rolled a 6 plus 2 is 8, and she had a 7, so she takes a point of damage and goes from 7 to 6. Now what happens? Let's take a look at our battle board again. If there's a draw, nothing happens. The battle immediately continues with the next round except. Okay, The Gore has no willpower. Okay, so the battle ends when the Gore has no willpower, the hero has no willpower, the hero has no hours left on the time track, the hero breaks off the battle after the Gore responds. Okay, so let's push it another hour into combat. So here we go. We're still only rolling 1 die with her, so she rolled a 3, so if I flip it, it becomes a 4. So she again rolled her 7. This guy needs to roll really poorly. Come on. Oh, 2 1s. Well, I mean, that's probably the best I can roll, because if I roll a 1 and a 2, it's still 2. So these get added together. So 2, 3, 4 versus her 7. So the Gore is going to take 3 points of damage. So it's down to 1 hit point, but we got to keep pressing on, because if we end the combat, it fully heals. So she gets to roll again. I spent the hour. We rolled a 2, so we're going to flip it to a 5. So now we're looking at 5, 6, 7, 8. And the Gore needs to roll poorly again for me. Ah, oh, crud. A 3 and a 6. So the Gore also rolled an 8, so nobody takes any damage. So another round of combat goes. We're going to roll again. We got a 2, so I'm going to flip that to a 5. All right, and the Gore, so she's at 8. The Gore, again, rolls an 8. Oh, my God. Okay, so we're going to go into overtime. So we're going to go -2, and we're going to roll again. 4. Okay, so we're at 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, good. Okay, so here we go. So it has 4, and we rolled a 7, so that's enough to kill it. And so what we win is printed on the board here. Now we get 2 gold or 2 willpower or a combination thereof. So I could take 2 gold, I could take 1 gold and 1 willpower, or 2 willpower. But since that cost us willpower to push into overtime, I'm going to go ahead and gain the 2 willpower there. All right, hopefully I didn't forget to take a willpower or anything, but if I did, it hopefully won't matter. So now, here we go. This gets killed, and this tells us what to do. Then it says, then immediately continue reading the end of battle card. Okay, so there's these 2 cards that come with Legend 1 as well. Now, you'll notice that one of them says fighting together, which the game doesn't want us to read yet. It wants us to suffer through that painful combat. So we read this, end of battle. This says, so on the right-hand side in red, it says, did you lose the battle? The hero has 0 willpower points, so he loses the battle and loses 1 strength point, assuming he still has more than 1. In addition, he immediately gains 3 willpower points. Now it's the next hero's turn. So you can see there's actually a little arrow here going from 0 to 3, but you have to spend one of your strength points. But we won, so we're going to read the blue side. The Gore has 0 willpower points, so the hero wins the battle and immediately gets 2 gold or 2 willpower. Okay, so that's what we described down here. Now for the part that I think makes people dislike this game. This is the thing where people go, ugh. And this is what I think makes it so unique and awesome. Once you know this and accept this and realize that it's this kind of game and not that kind of game, defeated creatures are always placed on space 80. What did I do? Where did I move the guy? Oh, right here. Okay, so here's the dead guy. Placed on space 80, which is down here. Boom. You'll see that space 80 says go push this up, which runs the time clock of the game out, okay? New legend cards may be triggered in the process, and of course it is. And then it tells you what happens if the game ends without a winner or the battle, which basically comes down to they heal. They don't retain their damage. The next person to enter combat with that guy would be fighting a Gore at full force strength here. So we need to read C, card number C, which is right here, because that pushed the narrator up to C. It says, the creatures are trying to storm the castle. When a creature enters the castle, it is immediately placed on a golden shield next to the castle. You can see right here on a 4-player game, we only get one extra shot, 1 shot. The legend is lost when there are no unoccupied shields left for a creature that enters the castle. The number of golden shields depends on the number of heroes. For example, if there are 4 heroes, you only allow 1 creature in, blah, 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 blah. Even though the heroes are all of different origins, they quickly realize that they can only stop the creatures if they work together. If 2 or more heroes are standing on a single space with a creature, they can fight together, and the archer can also join in from an adjacent space. That makes them considerably more powerful. Read the Fighting Together card out loud. Man, was that rough before that card. Okay, all right, so Fighting Together is this card. You see it, it's Legend 1. It reminds you 3 places that this is with Legend 1. Its name is Fighting Together. And here we go, fighting together. The hero whose turn it is invites the hero standing on the same space with him and a creature to fight together. The time markers of all the heroes taking part in the battle are advanced 1 hour. All heroes taking part in the battle add their strength points together. Then all the heroes taking part in the battle roll the dice in turn. That's very important. Adding each highest result to the collective strength points. This is their collective battle value. Each battle round is started by the hero who issued the invitation. The reaction of the creature proceeds in exactly the same way as it would in a battle fought by a single hero. If the heroes lose, each participating hero loses the full difference in willpower points. In the case of a victory, the reward is freely shared among, right? So we don't both get 2 or 2, we get 2 and have to divide it up, okay? All right, so that's much better. Okay, so we got through that one. Now, Cram here, here's a good lesson. This actually worked out really well. So now that we know this, because we just read that card, Cram can initiate combat with this Gore and bring the elf in for help. So the archer. We're going to move them both up 1 hour, and both of these guys are not going to fight this guy. And in fact, there was some clarification here from the designer and artist, Michael Menzel, right here. The only thing that is important for team battles is that all heroes of this team battle group are in a position to fight against the same creature, right? And so basically, if this guy was here and she was here and it's her turn, she can initiate combat with the Gore over here, but because he's still in a valid could-be fighting Gore, they can do a team combat. That's all that says. Okay, so who initiated combat? Yellow guy. So he rolls first. He only gets to roll 2 dice because he has 7 willpower, but he has 5 strength. Boom. So we roll so we got a 4, and then hers are weird. Like I said, I don't know why there's so many dice. I get the idea, I guess, but you roll 1 at a time and decide where to stop. So we got a 1. We're not going to stop there. So oh, you can't see that. Of course, it's a green screen. So then we're going to roll 3. I say we roll again. Okay, and we get what? How many rolls with her? 4? 2. Okay, so we're just pushing our luck. Our final roll is a 5. Okay. Good. So we have 9 plus their 4, 5. No, 5. He's at 5, 6, 7. So we did. God, he could kill by himself, I bet. So 7 plus 9. So we did 16. And the Gore is going to roll 3, 4, 5. So we did 11 points of damage to this thing. It only has 4 hit points, right? Because it starts here. So now these two were successful in their combat. But we get 2 gold or 2 willpower. I think, let's just push up his willpower. This just in case we take damage, I don't want to be rolling 1 die with him, right? I want to roll 2. Now, remember, we killed the guy, so this pushes us up to card D. Oh boy. Okay, so card D. All right, okay. What does this say now here? The king's attendants bring grim tidings. More creatures have appeared. Gores were sighted in the north. Now place Gores in spaces 8 and 15. So 8 is way up here. Oh, 15 is way up here. In the north, like it says. And trouble roamed in the watchful woods. That's going to be over here then, right? That's 48 and 53. 48 and 53. And they've also shown up in the dwarf mines to the south. 43. Uh-oh. Okay. 43. General rule of deployment applies to all creatures. If one of the spaces is already occupied by a creature, the new creature is immediately placed on the space with an arrow pointing to it adjacent to the occupied space. Creatures can never activate a fog or a well token. Oh, wow. Okay. So yeah, the way the game teaches you these rules, since I learned, I played this like 3 years ago, I have like little bits of the rules bouncing around in my brain that I can't attribute to where I learned them, so like they just kind of come out randomly. All right, well, so that was yellow. We go on to blue here, who I guess, I was going to come down here and kill this guy, but if we look at what the game just told us, it's trying to teach us that, right, if we don't kill one of these 2 guys right now, this guy's going to move into space. He's 8. He's going to move into space 7. 15 is going to try to move into 7, but this guy's going to be there. He's going to jump right into the castle. Okay, so we need to move from here 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. So we're going to go from 1 to 5. Oh, boy. Okay, green. Now she can actually go 1, 2, 3 and help that guy fight. Maybe that's not a bad idea. 3 spaces for her. 1, 2, 3. Oh, boy. So 1, 2, 3. That puts her up there. That's 6, right? Okay, so we can see all these guys. But we need to kill one of these guys, right? And then purple is down here. Maybe just you're going to hold the fort, I guess, right? You're going to rest now. Okay. And then yellow. Yeah, the wizard had a tough battle, so yellow could go down there and help her, right? So yellow has 4 moves left. 1, 2, and then 3, 4 could kind of almost... Oh, no, but she's going to go first, so maybe we want yellow to be over there to help, right? So 1, 2, 3... 1, 2, 3. Yeah, no matter what, it's 1, 2, 3, so he's going to be up here. Okay, so we reset up to blue. Blue is... so blue can fight now, and it's only going to cost 1 hour, because I can't imagine we lose this. So blue and green are both going to fight. So we're going to roll blue first. Blue gets to roll 3 dice. Come on, blue. Dun, 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 dun. We got a 4, a 1, and a 2. So we got a 4 on that roll. Okay, and then green... I mean, it would just be too hard for me to track which die is rolling, so I'm just going to re-roll 1. So green gets 4 re-rolls, because we have 4 here. So now we're going to go 1 is a 4. That's probably good enough, right? That's 8, 9, 10, 11, that's 12. Well, yeah, let's leave it. That's 12, and so we're going to roll for the gore now. An 8. Oh, that's good enough, though, right? So they rolled a 6 plus 2 is 8, and we did 12, right? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, so it's 4 damage. It only has 4 hit points. Boom. 1 dead gore. Now, we get to gain some stuff here. Let's give this guy 2 willpower. He goes from 12 to 14. That way, he can roll an extra die now. Heck yeah. Okay, all right, so now, this is a dead gore. We're going to push this up to E. And green is going to retire for the night. Purple is already retired, so yellow is going to retire for the night, and blue is... So everybody's done for the day, right? I think everybody's going to call it for the evening. We're just going to let the day reset, right? Purple's going to be first. Okay, so we have to look at our cards here, right? So, or this thing. So the sunrise box says, pull a card. What the heck? Forest fire. Any hero on a forest space loses 1 strength point. Is anybody in a forest? No. No, okay. If a hero only has 1 strength point, nothing happens. Okay. Also, this card has a little shield on it. If you have a shield item, I don't know where in the game it tells you this, you'll notice the backside is like damaged. You can flip it or discard it if it's already damaged to prevent this bad card from happening, but nobody's in a forest, so that's kind of cool for a card draw. Then we move all the gores, so lowest numbers first. So here goes 15... 19, 21, 43, 48, and 53. Okay, so they've all moved. And then we move other creatures. None of them are here. You'll notice those guys move twice. We refresh all the wells. They already are, as long as there's no hero on them. And we move this guy up to F. So now we got to read another card. Okay, so F is one of the heroes encountered fishermen in flight. A scrawl attacked them by the river. It has been many years since anyone saw such things in Andor. What does it all mean? Now place a scroll on page 32. So if we look at the game pieces, the scroll is the middle red one there with like the swords and whatnot, right? Okay, so the scrolls are these guys. So they look like, well, that's a scroll backside. So here's a scroll front side, so we can take a look. Place them in space 32. And you can see they're burlier, right? Down here they have 6 hit points and 6 strength. Okay, so we'll put a 32's here. That's so cute. Didn't that say fisherman? Fisherman? Yeah, look, there's fishing boats here. Oh, man. I love this artwork. Okay, so there's that guy. What else does it say? Yeah, they yield a reward of 4 gold or 4 willpower or in any combination. Scrolls move at sunrise after the gores have moved. They move along the arrows. Don't forget, defeated creatures are always placed on space 80. The narrator immediately advances 1 space on the legend track. Right, that's why don't forget that. And I think that's the thing that people, once they get to this, they go, I don't like this game. Okay, so we did the narrator. Okay, so now we're starting over the next day. So purple, you're standing here with yellow. Gosh, let's do it. So let's go yellow and purple are going to fight. So purple has to roll first. We are going to do 4. Okay, so this is the reason why I'm glad this happened. Okay, so we can choose to not use her power because it would be a 3. So she rolls a 4, and then the yellow, the dwarf is going to roll 2 yellows, and we can use her power on one of his die, although we're not going to based on what we rolled, right? We're going to take the 5. But she has to make that choice then. That's why the order is very important. And then this comes up later, I know, with like potions and whatnot. Like you have to roll and then decide if a potion happens or not, and then that's it. And then next player rolls. Okay, so we did, oh god, he did 10, 14, 15, 17 points of damage. All right, here we go. Coming at you. 6, 7, 8. So we're still going to do 9 points of damage, which is more than enough to kill the Gar. So let's take, I don't know if the money is going to do us any good, so let's just take 2 more willpower for him. Because I want him to be able to roll 3 dice, right? You can't see because my fat head is in the way, but he gets 3 dice once he gets 3 more willpower, and he's close to a well he could rest at. Okay, so this guy is now dead. We put it here. We move this up to G, and it goes to Yellow, who I guess is just going to move over there 1 space, right? He has no money. So let's just move 1 space over here because we're going to have to fight this guy eventually and end our turn. We go to Blue, who's going to move 1 space over and end their turn. And Green is actually still adjacent. Look at that. That's connected right there. So Green can initiate combat for Blue and Green. So Blue's going to go to 2 hours. Green is going to go here. And then Green has to roll first. Green with a 3. Let's re-roll. 6, we're keeping it, right? So we're going to keep the green 6, and then we're rolling what now? 4 blue dice for the warrior, who's going to cream this guy. Boom. Hopefully, anyway. We got a 5 in there. That's good enough, right? So we got a 5. So we have 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 damage versus... Oh, no. So that's 8 for them, because they rolled doubles, right? If they roll the same, right, like they add them together. If I rolled 3 4s, that would be 12 plus strength. So this is 8, 9, 10. So this Gore is a hulking beast who rolled a 10, and we had 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So still, we did more than 4 points of damage, so we kill it. So we defended the castle. That's good. We have to move the narrator up, but we need some winnings. Let's go ahead. I don't know if money is important, right? So we're just going to take 2 that. Now we got to read card H. And if you look at this, there's no more cards to end. So I'm kind of afraid. Ooh, there's more than 1, too. There's 2. H1, H2. H1, a message from King Brander reaches the heroes. My friends, I thank you for your help. Our situation is dire. The rope bridge across the river has been destroyed. The rope bridge is covered with the red X. Oh, yeah, right. So I have like a fake one here, not the one in the box, and is no longer passable. Oh, wow. I didn't even, oh, that's so amazing. That's a stone bridge, that's a wooden bridge, and that's a rope bridge. That's awesome. The rope bridge is covered with the red X. Okay. And is no longer passable. Spaces 16 and 48 are no longer adjoining. A Gore on space 48 simply remains in that space. I've penned a warning for our allies, the keepers of the Tree of Songs. You must somehow manage to deliver this letter. Now place a parchment. Oh, that's what this is for. On space 5. Where's that? Oh, cool. The well. Okay. Why don't you give it to him in the castle, dude? That's weird. A hero who enters this space, let's see here, is already standing there, can pick up the parchment and set it on one of the small storage spaces on his hero board. He cannot do that while just passing through the space, however. Task. The parchment must be delivered to the Tree of Songs, which is space 57. That's up here. Before the narrator can reach space N of the legend track. If the parchment is on 57, the legend ends prematurely, and the narrator is immediately advanced to letter N. Now continue to legend card H2, which is this. Important. If the parchment or the hero who carries it is on the same space as the creature, the legend is immediately lost. That also happens if the hero is just trying to pass through the space with a creature on it while carrying the parchment. The king concluded his letter with a warning. I fear that the creatures will try to capture the letter. Oh gosh, more dudes. Place Gores on 19. Oh god. 36. And 56. Well, 56 is here, so I need 36 down here, it looks like. 35. I'm close. Right? 35. Oh my god. Where is 36? Oh, weird. Okay. And scroll. Oh gosh. And scrolls on 54 and 64. 64 is way out here. And 54 is. Oh god. Oh, and I can't. Oh, of course not. Now I've got to go. How am I supposed to kill all those guys? A hero may, okay, deposit articles. A hero may deposit the parchment or gold or other articles as well in later legends on a space on which he is standing, but not through which he is merely passing. Oh, you have to stop there, basically. I see. And once you stop moving, you can't move anymore. From there, it can be picked up again by the same hero or by another one. In this way, two heroes standing on the same space can trade or give as many articles and gold as they like. Strength and willpower points, on the other hand, can never be traded or given. When you've successfully completed the legend or have prematurely failed, read card N out loud. Oh, dude. Okay, so great. All four of us are kicking it up here. We need to get over here. And all these guys are going to come rushing down. Oh, this is bad news. Let's see, 30. Oh, this guy must have moved from somewhere, right? So 19. I just want to double check where all these guys are. Is that the right card? H2. Nice. Gore's on 19, 36, and 56. Okay, and then 54 and 64. 54 and 60. Okay, that's it. All right, well, this is the final countdown. So I think I'm going to, move some of this stuff around here real quick, take a quick break, and we'll be right back on the other side of this to hopefully finish this out. All right, let's wrap this up. Now, here's where the fun puzzle part of this comes in, right? We have to remember that we have all of these guys moving across the land in this direction, and we have to go that way. Somehow get through all of that, and we can only kill so many of them. And we need to pick this thing up and get out of here now. So I've had some time to think about this, and I've just concluded that we're going to lose. There's no good way to do this. All right, so the archer, she and the blue guy killed this one here, the warrior. So we're going to move over to the purple wizard, who I think is going to take just one step over here to hang out with the yellow dwarf. We go to the yellow dwarf now, who may as well initiate combat for these two. We're going to give them, or spend their hour. And what do we have here? We have 2 dice for yellow, and he's starting the combat. Ooh, a 1 and a 2. That's awful. So what we can do is we can say the purple player here, right? So remember, her ability is when fighting with other heroes in a collective battle, she can apply her ability to another hero's roll instead of her own. So we're going to flip this 2 to a 6, and then we're going to roll for her, and she just gets what she gets. A 4, so not bad. Not bad at all. Right, so now we have 10, 15, 18 versus whatever this little gore is going to try to put up. 2, look at that, 2 ones, snake eyes. So what, 4 points versus 18, so that's more than enough damage to kill this thing. Our rewards, I don't know, again, I'm just not sure about the money aspect of it, if I should be taking money or hit points. We're not getting hit, we're not getting killed because we're team fighting everywhere. That's also, means that's why everybody's up here hanging out together. So the gore that we killed goes down here to space 80, pushes the narrator up, and that's going to do it for yellow. So let's go up to Thorn, the warrior blue. We're going to move 2 spaces, 1 onto the castle, 2 down here. That puts Thorn at 4. Now remember, Thorn's ability is to drink from this well and gain 5 willpower and pick up the thing. So we're at 19 willpower now. Now green, so blue now has the parchment that we need, right? The letter from the king. And I think, we can't cross here. I think our best bet might be to try to get as close to here as we can possibly get with it immediately, right? So if we so he can move 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. So let's give two movement to the archer. 1, 2. Okay, so the archer's done. We go to purple. Now, what do? Do they just hang out here and defend the castle, or do we let one through? Well, this guy's going to move pretty fast. 1, 2, 3. Right. So we can't really afford to let guys through. So we need to keep our defenses up in this area. So let's have yellow move. They can move 1 space over to here, and then we will have. Purple and yellow. They're going to do the same thing. They're going to hang out together. We go back to blue, who is now going to move 1, 2, 3 spaces. So now blue is 1, 2, 3. Going to trade or drop the parchment here so that green can pick it up, and the archer now has 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can't go here, and we can't go here next turn either because this gore is going to move into this zone, right? We can't have that because then we lose the game. So we can go 1, 2. You know what? While she's here, he's gonna drop money for her too, so she can do that and move 1 space and buy a strength point for herself. I mean, may as well, right? Okay, off to, yeah, I don't know, maybe do purple and yellow attack now? The problem is, one, this is going to move here by itself in just a moment, and then we can't kill 3 of these guys. I'm not actually sure how this all works out. 1, 2, 3. I'm really, yeah, this is not looking good for us at all. Maybe purple just goes to sleep, yellow just goes to sleep for the day. The blue guy, he's out of time, so they can go to sleep too. And then we go back to green, who's going to move 1 more space. And then everybody else is done for the day, so we'll go back here. That way, blue and green can kill this guy, and green can sneak up on through here. Let's see what happens there. All right, so the cards say, the hero with the lowest rank is allowed to uncover any 2 fog tokens, but a token is only triggered when a hero ends his move on that space. Okay, so, I mean, it doesn't matter because there's only us here, but it would be like yellow player, rank 7 here, gets to pick 2. So if we're coming up this way, we may as well just see what's here, just so that we know what we can get. So there's +3 willpower and a card. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead with all the movement now. Let's get this sorted out. So 16 moves, 19 moves, 36 is probably, oh no, 36 moves, 39 moves, and then this guy moves here, and this guy moves here, but then we do these really bad guys, and this guy gets to go zoop all the way up there. Are you kidding me? And then this guy gets to go zoop all the way down here, and then this guy looks like he moves right here. Wow. Well, now we have a big problem, right? Okay, well, let's do the rest. So the well and the narrator, that's all that's left. So that's insane. How are we supposed to get through this? How are we supposed to get, without knowing ahead of time, to kill? We can't. There's literally no way to do it. Could we hide in the dwarven mine or over here? I don't know. So first up is going to be the wizard. So I guess the wizard and the dwarf are just going to kill. If we kill that guy, I mean, we are so close to ending this immediately. I really don't know how this works, because how are you supposed to do this? Because if we kill this guy, I mean, if we don't kill this guy, he's going to move 1 space next time. Right, so that's safe, but then this guy gets in the castle. This guy's going to get in the castle. So there's these 2 dudes are going to get in the castle. This guy would move first and jump this guy into the castle. Then this guy would eventually get to the castle. That guy would be in his spot. So there's all 3 of those guys need to die. That doesn't leave us enough time to pull this off. I don't understand how this is even doable. I really don't. So, I mean, we could leave this one guy. So maybe purple moves. Maybe we just let one guy in? Maybe, so purple moves 2 spaces and is now in this space, and we're just going to hold the line there. Then yellow is going to also move 2 spaces to be with him, I guess. And then blue is 1, 2, 3 spaces. We're going to move over there. And then, so now we can engage and fight this guy. Gosh, I mean, somehow we need to kill this guy, and then this guy needs to somehow go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, wait a minute. It's doable because these spaces. Oh, here I am looking at just over here. Wait a minute, hold the phone. Okay, so wait a minute. This is doable, I think. It might cost us a bit. How much willpower do we have? Plenty. Okay, so the blue guy, green guy is now going to initiate combat for, right, so we have the archer and the blue guy, the warrior, are going to attack this gore. So now I need some dice. Green first. So we are going to roll a 5. I'm just going to keep that. Then blue gets how many dice? 4? All right, let's see. Oh gosh. Wasn't great, but we got a 4 in there, so that's okay. So we have a 4, and so we have 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, right? That's 5. 14 points of damage versus the Gore's 8. So we still had enough to kill it, right? That's a dead Gore. So this guy's dead. We'll put him here and push that up. And then we need to get $2 or some. Let's get some more willpower because she's going to be burning it, right? So she'll go 1, 2. Okay, so she's done. We go on to purple. God, I mean, this is going to be incredibly tight. I think our only option is to kill the guy that's here, which is going to push us here. Oh my gosh, this is insane. This is the first one. Okay, so we have to kill that guy. So we're going to do combat for these two. So they're going to go up 1 hour, and it's purple. So we're going to roll purple first. We have a 2, which is pretty terrible. So we're going to flip that to a 5. Then we're going to roll 2 dice for the dwarf for cram. And we've got a 6 and a 1. So we're going to take the 6. And that gives us, oh man, they have a lot. They have 5, 6, 7, 8 just sitting over there. Okay, but this thing does have 6 and 6 because this thing is stronger, right? So it's still only rolling 2 dice though. So let's see, it's going to roll a 5 and a 6. Wow, it rolled great. So it has 12. So this thing actually has a 12 on its attack because it's plus 6 strength. So what did I say we have? We have 11, 12, 13, 14, plus 5. So 19, is that right? What did I say? Yeah, 19, right? 5 and 5 is 10, plus 9 is 19 versus 12, so 7 points of damage. Whew! Just barely by 1. Okay, so you see how tough that is. That's only like the 2nd level creature. Okay, so we're going to throw that on the pile, move the narrator up 1. There's no way to do this, I don't think, right? Oh man, this is crazy. It's going to literally come down to like the last second. Our reward for this was 4 money or 4 willpower. Let's just, let's go 1, 2, 3, and I guess 4, just to make sure that we're not too low on stuff here, right? But at least this buys us a moment, right? It buys us a round, I think. Okay, so dwarf, I mean, you may as well just stay there. Let's just burn your turns. I'm not worried about what happens with you at the moment. I've slipped. Okay, so then we're going to say blue. Does blue come over here and hang out? If we kill that guy... Oh, man, this is going to be really tight. How many moves is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's going to be our only shot is to do it on this turn, right? 1, 2, 3... for blue, right? 1, 2, 3. And then we go off to green and we go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then I think maybe purple and yellow just hang out, right? I'm kind of done with those guys anyway. So we'll just say that they're done because they're not doing anything important here. The important stuff is right here. So we're gonna say they rested. We go up to the warrior who I mean, I guess we have to kill this guy? And then, let's say it takes 2 rounds, though. That's going to put green up here. And then that leaves 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, my God. I mean, basically, this comes down to we have to win on the first. Oh, no. We don't really have a choice. Okay, so here it goes. So blue is going to go into overtime, and green is going to spend 1 hour. And this is our only shot at this. So blue gets to roll 4 dice for combat against a scroll. Or no, yeah, scroll. All right. So we have, oh good, there's a 6 in there. Oh, there's 2 6s. Boy, that would be nice if I had a helmet. And then green, we have 5 rolls we can make with her bow. So there's 1, that's a 2. A 4. So that's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We have to hope it doesn't roll. I mean, this is some serious push your luck stuff, right? Because we have 15 total here, and it's going to have plus 6. If it rolls a 6, it has 12, and we need to roll better. All right, so there's roll number 3. That's a 3. Roll number 4. Oh, we're going to screw this up. There's a 4. You know what? I can't. I just have to stop because this isn't going to work out, I don't think. I don't think that this is possible at this point. Okay, so now this guy gets to go here, the scroll, right? Yeah, let's see here. So it rolls, of course, a 6. And I think that just costs us the game, because now it has 12, right? So it has 12, its attack is 12, right? So that basically is going to, oh my gosh, I can't believe that happened, right? Because we have 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we're only going to do 1, 2, 3 points of damage to it, and then we have to push forward another hour, which is going to cost the blue guy 2 more hit points, and then we have to do this again, but now we're 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces away. 1, 2, 3. Oh, maybe that was all we can do. Okay, well, let's see what happens. Okay, so here we go. Unless I forgot one. We need a... Okay, good. There's a 6. I got 3, 4, 5, 6 with the warrior, so we're going to go 6. And now with the ranged 6. I'm taking it. All right, now watch doubles happen here now. A 5 and a 6, of course. Okay, so it has 12 versus our 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So we did enough damage to kill this thing, which is great. Okay, we're gonna have to push this forward, right? There's that. Our reward is, I mean, whatever, money, it doesn't matter, I don't think. I really don't think it matters at this point. So there's that. Blue guy's done. Green, now 1, is that a legal move? 1, 2, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? And then that's going to cost green 6 hit points, so we're going to go down to 9 from 15. I think that was worth it, because I don't see another way to win this, and we're right here. We're on M. We have no other way to do this. I really think that's probably the only way to get through this. I didn't even realize these were connected at first. And there's all this, too. So we could scooch down over here. What is that? 83 is like a little, wow, like a tower. Okay, so, N. There's only one thing left, so let's read what it says. So, oh, that's interesting. It's upside down even. So, like, if you fail, the legend ended badly. So let's not do that, because we won barely. Okay. The legend ended well if the parchment was brought to space 57 and the castle was successfully defended. Thanks to the heroes of Andor, the keepers of the Tree of Songs were warned in time, and many lives were saved. New hope was kindled in the hearts of the people. But as any student of the history of Andor can attest, this was just the beginning. The heroes were to encounter great challenges again in their very next adventure. Yay! Okay, that was the intro scenario. And I'm sorry that was so long. It's a lot more work to have to explain a game in steps like this than it is to just say, the rules are this. And then the way this scenario plays out, you kind of have to just do it, because every single thing teaches you how to play. Let's see here. Do you want to play the next legend right away? If so, you must take all the figures and tokens off the game board and follow the instructions on the checklist card. So I wanted to show this, though. So basically, this is the only time you would play this scenario, I think, is to kind of learn the basic rules. And then it has that, like, 8-page reference guide that fills in all the little blanks of just things that it should probably tell you. Like, nowhere did it mention, you know, how well, maybe it does. Maybe it's just because we didn't use the equipment board yet. Maybe it mentions on here, right? Fend off negative event card for the group of heroes. It does say. Maybe it's just in that book in a nice little compendium. But this card here that literally just says checklist, this is the thing that you need to do to set the game up on every other game. And it is quite different than this, because you don't have these, like, oh, remove the bad stuff from it. Well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe you do. Maybe you have to take stuff out for certain scenarios or whatever. I have no idea, but we're going to find out. So each player chooses a hero. Right, so take your board, blah, 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 blah. All this stuff is not important. What's important is that we won. We have the basic rules down. I've read through the rules reference. I know what's going on here. So I think that scenario 2 or legend 2 is going to be a little bit more fun, because it won't be so like, oh, what do the rules say? Here's how you do this. I think it's going to be much more figuring out how this actually goes. So that was close. Look at all the guys we killed, right? And so you see, I think that's where the stress comes. And, you think this game is just a fantasy brawl. It's not. It is a puzzle game. You have to figure out in this amount of turns, how to do the thing that you need to accomplish. And, can you afford to do things like that? Like, without overtime, I don't think we could have done it, right? We could have had her hide here, wait for the scroll to pass, but then what happens? This guy has to get killed. It would have moved the timer. This guy has to get killed because we can't afford 2 people to go into the castle. So it becomes a really tight puzzle really fast. And again, I'm just going to point out how much I love the artwork, all the little details. There are people here with horses, and this guy's chopping some food or something on a table. It's incredible. Look at that. There's a secret cave hidden there. I've never noticed this before. So much cool stuff. Legends of Andor. That was legend number 1. So we learned how to play. And next time, we're just going to jump right into legend 2 and not have to hopefully go through any of the rules. Thanks for watching.